Hello friends, welcome to Mysterious Stories. Friends, it is said in English that justice delayed is justice denied, that is, the justice which is not given on time is like not giving justice. This story will surprise you, a man who spent 48 years of his life in jail. This story started in 1974 when a boy named Glenn Simmons came to America's city. A typical 233-year-old boy in Edmonds was leading a typical life until an incident completely altered his. Friends, a woman was killed in a robbery that occurred in the city of Edmonds in December 1974. This woman's name was Caroline Rogers was the woman in question. Caroline was shot in the head by robbers who broke into the store where she worked and demanded money. Caroline was immediately assassinated for simply carrying out her duties in an honest manner. Friends, there was another woman in the same store at the time of this incident. She was shot by the robbers as well, but she was fortunate to live. Although they fled from the robbers, the police soon began looking for them around the city. They quickly arrested a few people without any suspicion and brought them before the same woman so she could identify them. The robbers were who? Friends, this woman recognized two men, Glenn Simmons, whose story is revealed here, and Don Roberts. This testimony led to Glenn's arrest by the police, but there was a serious problem. Glenn informed the police that the administrator was in Louisiana, another American state, at the time of the robbery and was not even in the city. Numerous witnesses, including friends, had stated that Glenn was actually in Louisiana at the time of the incident, which is unrelated to this one. However, Glenn was not contacted, and the case proceeded in court despite the fact that the woman who testified likewise made multiple changes to her story. In 1975, a year later, Glenn and another guy, Don Roberts, received death sentences. However, 2 years later, in 1977, they received a death sentence. It was amended to imprisonment, meaning Glenn would now have to live out his entire life behind bars. Glenn persisted in maintaining his innocence, but it was too late and his life had been destroyed. When Glenn was younger, he was imprisoned for 48 years, his entire life, for a crime he had never committed. However, he was not even there with Glenn. The other man was Don Roberts. Glenn was freed on parole in 2008, but he stayed behind bars until the court found him not guilty 48 years later. Glenn was about 70 years old now. The judge determined that Glenn has no proof that he was responsible for that murder. Although Glenn had been incarcerated his whole life, he was released a few months ago after serving 48 years, 1 month, and 18 days. In America, the case gained widespread notoriety. People were surprised when this tale began to appear in the media. Glenn will receive 5 lakh rupees in compensation from the state of Oklahoma because he was subjected to severe torture. However, this money will be provided to him gradually. People are currently contributing to a fund that has been established for Glenn in America so that he can continue living his life. He also discovered that he had cancer after being released from prison. Despite the fact that Glenn is receiving treatment, the last 48 years of his life cannot be recovered. Justice delayed is justice denied, as I stated from the outset. It is equivalent to not receiving justice if it is not delivered on time.